Paul. 4 wins in a row. Everything seems pretty hunky-dory at the moment. It's a far cry from where we were a few weeks ago, but it's significantly better, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, you're in it to win games, and the lads are in pretty good form. Obviously, to win a couple of home games is nice. Our away form's been pretty consistent. Touch wood. Obviously, it will possibly last the whole season, but they're in a good place, and obviously confidence builds confidence, and we're still beyond what I would want for points tally. There's only 2 teams I think who have got averaging 2 points a game, so we're still a bit off that. But generally, the lads are in good place, and like I said, I think they're pretty confident. That gets you so far, but over the course of 46 games, you've just got to be consistent, and like recently we have been.
How much does it improve the mentality of the group? I mean, not that there was many people sort of dipping in confidence, but it must feel a different dressing room that you're walking in with 4 wins under your belt.
Yeah, I don't walk in their dressing room much. I'm not very popular, obviously, so I try and leave that to them. But obviously on match days I go in. I don't think we've had. I mean, the lads. You can ask the lads this, and they're more than. I'd always like my players to be 100% honest. I don't think we've ever had a sort of a lack of confidence. I just think we have had a inconsistency really, and we've been able to pick virtually the same team on consecutive weeks. However, if we'd have lost on consecutive weeks, obviously I wouldn't do that. So I think that's what the lads are happy with. And I think I've always thought that after 10, 12 games, you start to get match fit. The winter pitches become more prevalent. You then end up playing winter football to a certain extent. And I think the lads have been pretty well prepped in the summer for what's ahead. So it's a long season, the usual sort of things. However, that doesn't mean I don't enjoy winning. If I don't enjoy winning, then you'd never be a football manager. So you've got to enjoy the good times. But I don't think the lads are any more alert in meetings now or responsive in meetings or anything like that. I don't think there's been a massive change, apart from the fact that it's much nicer to come in on a Monday on the back of a win than it is on the back of a defeat. So, and they're no different than fans at work or whatever. You just want to see your team win.
It's a confidence thing as well, isn't it? Knowing that they can go out there and do it.
Yeah, and I think there's been moments in all the games this season that they can take confidence from, but it's just like, consistently doing it over 95 minutes. I mean, even the last game against Crewe, they created chances. On another day, the scoreline could have gone a different way. I don't want the lads to feel complacent that they just have to turn up. That is, that will crumble anyhow. So I don't want to feel like that, but I do want them to feel confident. But there's certain things we've been going on about, like the first goal and try never to be outrun and simple basics like that. And, every run back to your own goal is a sprint. And as long as they continue to do that, we'll pick up points and hopefully enough to, go where we want to go.
And we've just spoken to John Mellish, a guy who's kind of gone under the radar a little bit, I think, because he was kind of out of the team, obviously with the suspension, and drifted back in. And we've mentioned it before, playing at fullback, you're not going to set the world alight sometimes. No. But he's been super consistent, I think, since he's come in. And I mean, you mentioned it, he was the best player on the park on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought so, because I like, obviously everyone wants to see the goals go in, and the superstars, Mike Gill score for the edge of the box, a great goal. But for me, it was the fact that he does go under the radar, you're right, but there was times where there was one first half where Kel switched it to him on a throw-in, and he literally goes from the edge of our box to the edge of their box. He gets us up the pitch really well, he's aggressive, which I love. He's fit, like super fit, which on our pitch, it's obvious you need to have a real level of fitness. And every time he gets the ball, he really wants to go forward. Mm-hmm. So they're all the characteristics you want from your wing back. And the same the other side, like Aaron's been excellent as well. But I just thought that John's overall performance, even before I watched it back and saw all the objective data, I just thought he was, his drive has had a massive influence on the team's success.
He's mentioned as well the welcoming atmosphere that the squad has. How important is it when you look at players and look to bring players in that element of their personality is there, not just their footballing ability?
Yeah, I mean, it's essential to me. I know every manager's different. Some fans will listen to me saying this and be like, oh. But we spend a lot of time together, first and foremost. So we spend 5-6 days a week. for a lot of weeks. So I just think that the chemistry isn't right in the dressing room is a problem. Now, whether that shows its head in August or December or April, you don't know. But I think who they are as people is essential. And like obviously everyone we brought in the summer, I scrutinise and I try and talk out from coming. It's a weird signing procedure I have, but I try and show them how we work and then try and put it on their toes a little bit about, you won't probably play a lot. You won't, what's your character like? And if they still want to come and sign, I think it's a good way to sort of filter, really. But the dressing room is a good dressing room. It was a good dressing room. There's some really good people in there. And obviously since Gills has taken over the captaincy from Louis, I think he's driving it as well. He's a really positive, upbeat winner. So he's a massive part to play in there. But then you bring in the Pattersons, the Rushes, the Mendezes, the Wills. We've brought in really good people who want to win and who want to achieve things in life. So it goes a long way, in my opinion, that look, when you're winning, things like that don't seem as prevalent or as important. But when you go through the harder times, it's essential. And there wasn't once where we had a team meeting and after a defeat at home where the lads came in and put their heads down or didn't shake everyone by the hand. They're good people who want to do well. That doesn't mean they will. But I just think over the 46 games, it gives you a better chance.
I mean, that mentality is huge, isn't it? And can drive you on. And when you've won 4 in a row, those characteristics tend to show their heads a little bit more, and you build on that, and the momentum carries on. Yeah,
hopefully. I mean, in fairness, if we hadn't had such a shaky home start, the 4 wins on the spin wouldn't be so essential. But because we had a shaky start, we had conversations with the lads, we need to go on a run, and like the run will end, whether it ends Saturday or the next Saturday or the Saturday after, whenever the case may be. Then you have to try and get back on the horse as soon as you can, really. So the togetherness of the group and the relationship with all the staff, coaching staff, physios, fitness team, the whole lot is important. And like I said, during the tough times, you need your families to stick together. And hopefully we can continue this run. But I also know that it will come to an end, and I won't lose any sleep about that. We'll just prepare for the next game as we always do, and try and set up to win. So so we look forward to the games coming up, and we've got an FA Cup game in a couple of weeks, which will be a nice breath.
Injury wise, how's everybody getting on? Obviously Lawrence Maguire, I think, was the only one missing from the squad last week.
Yeah, he's got a calf injury, so unfortunately he'll be missing for a few weeks, not loads, I don't think. I'm seeing more and more of Aaron Collins. I don't think he's not available for this weekend before people buy a ticket, although they can't because it's sold out, isn't it? But thinking you're going to see Aaron, you're not. But Aaron's getting closer, Scott is getting closer, as they all do when they're injured. They're always getting closer. It's a bit of an obvious thing to say, but it does feel like the squad's taking. It looks in better shape, and I'd be lying if I didn't say when everyone's fit it's going to be an absolute nightmare for me, but I'll worry about that when it comes.
I mean, a few weeks ago we were talking about how nice it's going to be when you get some defenders back. I think it's probably going to be similar when you get some attackers back as well, because Callum, he's having to lead the line almost on his own as that sort of sole focal
you're
point.
right. Yeah, and in fairness as well, like I've gone from a 3 to a 2, so having 3 in you've got 5 or 6 strikers is nearly manageable. Having 2 positions for 5 or 6, if they're all fit, is good competition for places. And my MK Don's managerial speech would be, that's what I want. That's the dream. Is it a dream? You want 4 good uns competing for 2 and you can swap them around and all that. But it will be, it is a fight behind Pato, really. Pato's been really good at leading the line. I think I alluded to at the end of last season and pre-season, it was essential that we had like a focal point up top, and even in games where Pato probably doesn't get as much goal action as his probably talent deserves, he leads the line really well. He's a real physical threat. He allows players around him. He sometimes gets 2 people trying to stop him in front and in the back, and he's allowing the team to play. And sometimes your role as a striker is to be a 30-goal-a-season striker. Sometimes your role is to be a team playing 9. And at the moment, he's leading that line really well.
Bromley then, a team that go about their business well. They're a well-organised, well-drilled side, aren't they?
Yeah, well coached side. In the last couple of games, they've changed system at half time. One from a 5 to a 4, one from a 4 to a 5. So they're very flexible, which I always think the best teams are. And the bravest coaches change it. If they see it, they just think it isn't working, we're going to change it. So, we're trying to prepare the lads for both systems, because whichever way they start, they could flip it. Obviously they've got a great talisman up top. Who scores a lot of goals. They have a lot of physical threat off set pieces, which in fairness is now a compliment. In years gone by, it'd be like an insult if you said your team's good at set pieces for some stupid reason. But now every team, it's a big deal for every team. So they're amazing on attacking set pieces, and they get into your box. And in fairness, I like that. As a fan, I like that. That's what I want to see my team do. I don't want to see my team have the ball on the halfway line. I want to see my team, make the opposition defend, and that's what they're very good at. They're a fit team. They break at pace, and as I say with every single game, and I mean it with complete honesty, we're going to have to be at our best to come away with a positive result. I know that they haven't lost at home yet. I don't know how many teams in our league can say that. We definitely are a team that can't say that.
And finally, how's the running going?
Yeah, tough. Yesterday was my toughest day. Well, that's a lie. Monday night was tough because I ran late, which is a schoolboy error, and I ran through my village, out the back of my village, and there's no street lights. I couldn't see where I was going. I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to break my ankle here. But yesterday I woke up with a bad back. Some days you don't feel your age, do you?
Yeah.
Whereas today I had to come down the stairs sideways. For those of a certain age who know what I'm talking about, my Achilles couldn't go down normal. I had to go sideways. My dog's looking at me like, what are you doing? But today, on Thursday, we're running around the stadium with some fans, and that should be good. But it's good because the group, all the lads who are doing it, all my staff who are doing it every day, you have to put it on, and everyone congratulates you. So like when you put it on, you're like, oh, what a result that is. And yesterday I think we only got 9 days left. So I told my wife that, and she said, there's only 9 Fridays left till Christmas. I'm like, no, just
one thing at a time.
Yeah, she can flip anything onto Christmas in a heartbeat. So, so 9 runs left, so I'm looking forward to it. However, I am so superstitious. If we keep winning, you know what I'm going to say, don't you?
You're going to make everyone do.
Everyone.
Keep
the
running.
First one to drop, and then if we lost a game, it's on them, innit? And I don't want that come the end of the year saying, them 3 points we dropped there, that's on you. So in fairness though, if I brought my staff in, before and after photos, we should do that. There's a lot of weight loss, let me tell you. There's some healthy faces. I'm giving Louis a new 4-year deal based on the fact that he can now do 5k quick.
I was going to say, it might be a tough sell trying to get Louis to do it every day.
It's funny, because it's funny when you chat about it. So he was saying how yesterday he was running and he knew that his wife and kids were coming past in the car, and he's thinking, I've got to look good when they come past. Sure. And then they toot the horn, he nearly fell into the road because it made him jump. And then as soon as the car goes back out of sight, it's like, back to slow. So, but it's going great, thanks. And obviously loads of clubs are doing it, and I appreciate the media attention it gets, because, it's a killer for us every 45 minutes. So if someone gets diagnosed, so it's a good cause, but it's tough. But it should be tough, isn't it? Because if it's not tough, you shouldn't sponsor me for walking my dog every day or eating my tea. It doesn't seem right. But it is a test. And in fairness, if you come shopping down here, you often see the staff run round here. Yeah. And there's no better feeling when I get in my car and some member of my staff's running round and they look, and you can toot your horn because you've done yours or whatever, and wave them off. So it's a real good effort, real good cause. I'm really proud of the group.
Nice. Thanks, Paul.
Brilliant. Paul, you said at the start of the season, we won't win every game this season. It's impossible, and you're right, of course.
Yeah. I know some things.
Yeah. And I think the top 7-8 teams in this league have all had a big slip up somewhere, haven't they, even this early on. But the way the Dons are playing at the moment, the goals you're putting away, the way you're defending, it's quite difficult to see you losing at the moment. Do you think that?
I never think that. I mean, even if I did think that, I would never admit that, because that is like career voodoo. But I don't think that, because when I watch the games back, and on the side of the pitch, like as coaches, as fans, it's different. So if I go and watch sport as a fan, I just follow the ball and think, go on, cross it. Whereas a coach and managers and like my assistants, everything, you're looking there, but you're always looking there. Is it sorted behind the ball? Is that organised? What happens if they break? Is Aaron too wide and all that? Mm-hmm. So I never come away from a game like fully satisfied. I do think we've got, recent weeks, we've been a bit smarter in front of goal. So the chances that we've created, we've took. And you're right as well that I think this weekend, if I counted Notts County Swindon last night, I might have this wrong, but I think only, when I looked at the form table, I think only 3 in the top 8 won. So to win every week is like incessant. And it's obviously difficult, and we've been fortunate that we've gone up the table because other people have dropped points. But I do go into every game confident, but then I did when we were losing. And I say this to lads all the time, I back them over any team. I always fancy us to win if we're at our absolute best. And we have been at our best in times, and we haven't been at our best at times. So the lads are in good place, they're confident. However, like, it's about, you know, trying to be consistent. So if they get punched in the mouth on Saturday and they lose, well, let's not cry about it. Let's just bounce to the next game and try and get 3 points in the next. So we're always going for max points. We're never trying to pick up draws. And hopefully, you know, the fans can see that.
Yeah, because you can't argue results we've had in the last few weeks for sure. But of course, it's no time to sit back and relax. Is there still more to come from this team?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're like a 7.5 out of 10, 7, 8 out of 10. I do think there's more, but then maybe I'm just like a really optimistic soul. Maybe I'm, you know, I just see that I see him train. I see how good they are, and look, you can't. There's always an opposition trying to stop you and all that. But I do think they've got another gear. I do. And with the players coming back, when you bring back like Kane or Gethin or Scotty or Aaron, like we've got good weapons to bring back as well. So the lads who are playing at the moment done excellent. I'm not saying it like that. I just mean that we've got a lot who haven't got to their best yet. Is probably the best way to put it. So, you know, when we get to January, we might have like a full squad. It will feel like, without doing any business, it might feel like we've signed 2 or 3 new players, which would be great. So I do think there's more in them, but then, you know, it's my job with the staff to keep pushing to get, you know, utopia, which is the unicorn of soccer, which is difficult, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Milton Keynes is growing, as are the surrounding areas. There's new families coming in, football enthusiasts. They've seen your team rising up the table the last few weeks. They look at this building. Have you got a message to new families, fans coming into the area, interested in what's going on in Stadium MK?
Well, if you like sport and you like attacking football, then please come and watch, come and have a look at the game. And I appreciate as well, which is the same anywhere in the country, when you move, you always have your allegiance. You always have like, do you know what, I was born in Southampton, I'm always going to be a Southampton fan. However, once you move, I think people who love watching live sport love watching live sport. So please come and watch, please come and cheer the lads on, and you might find yourself falling in love with us as your number 2 club, or you might bring your kids up and this is their number 1 club. Because in fairness, I've spent all my life in, all my growing up years in Norfolk. I'm a Norwich fan. I don't make any, you know, umbrage to that. They're a great team, or they were. However, I brought my kids up in Yorkshire, and every time I say to my kids, like, we're going home, they're like, we're not going home, Dad. Like, Yorkshire's home for us. So my son doesn't support Norwich. So I think, you know, your heart is where your heart is. And like, as a kid, I think the first game you go to, like if my dad would have took me, which would have been awful of him, but if he'd have took me anywhere but Norwich from a first game, that would have been my team, guaranteed. The first time I saw Carrow Road, I went up the steps, looked at the pitch, it's like, wow. So for anyone who's moving to the area and they want their family to come to a real family club, a lovely environment to watch football in, and the food and drink's quite nice. Hopefully you come and support the team, and hopefully the next generation of fans will fall in love with this group. And hopefully in years to come, people will talk about this team like they do, you know, some of the previous teams, that, you know, how they talk about Darren Potter and Louis and other players like that. Hopefully they'll be talking about Pato and Mendes and Gilbs like that, which will be, you know, a great honour for everyone at the club.